Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. It's Sunday night, and a few things I wanted to sort of talk about. Some of them are, let me fix this camera. Let's get this show on the road. There we go. So a few things I wanted to talk about. One thing specifically was so hey, welcome to the channel. Good evening. It's a Sunday night, and I'm going to be taking you through a trailer project that I've been working on. And what I like about this project is that it really goes very deep into a specific product line of VST developers known as 8DO. And of course, blending different ideas and different VSTs is always important. But in this particular example, we'll be looking at a very specific sort of set of ideas, from hybrid tools to caged brass. These are all 8DO products, as well as storm drums, which is sort of, par excellence for drum programming. And let's just jump into it. So as you can hear, we'll just listen to it first, and we'll start at the very top. And it's quite a large Logic session. I did some editing to sort of make it time out better with the trailer that my specific film scoring class has been working on. So I teach film scoring and music production and all that stuff. So I'm going to take you through a very, very sort of quick version of this. And let's see what we have here. All right. Okay. That's the upshot of it, and it's not quite finished. It's got a long way to go, but I want to take you through the major chunks of it. The thematic idea, which I actually started writing here, was actually the first thing I wrote, and then I moved it around to create more of an introduction later. So again, working non-linearly, you don't have to work from front to back when you're scoring. You can start with a theme and then move that theme to the middle if you need to, which I did here. So I'm going to play for you the major thematic version of the theme and how I structured it. So here we go. Complicated musically, but there's a lot of layering that's going on. So let's talk about it from top to bottom. So the first thing that I did was I programmed some drums. And drum programming is something that I really enjoy doing. And then I used some elements of storm drums. I also used some elements of damage. And the way I use damage is the damage tracks will ultimately be replaced by more original programming. But from a placeholder point of view, using those Heavyocity drums are great. We also have a lot of storm drums. Those are all over the mix. And they add so much to it. So if we even take out, for example, the Heavyocity stuff, let's do that first. This basic rhythmic platform is where everything else is built upon. So if we take the rhythm away, for example, let's do that. So we're going to take the drums out. So I think this should mute all of them. Now we have the brass part. Now the brass part is made up of Heavyocity, not Heavyocity, brass, what am I talking about? It's made up of whoops, it's made up of caged brass. And there's a bunch of different caged brass samples I'm using from 8Dio. And these are just really great, very well sampled instruments actually that work great. Just loud and right in your face. I'm not spending a whole lot of time mixing these. I'm just, for temporary purposes, putting a compressor on them, and I'll actually be swapping this out, and I'll be putting a limiter on this, and the limiter will create more sort of low end and more broadness to the sound. So if we put that in, let's do that now while we're here. I'm going to use my Slate Audio limiter for that, and I'm going to use the Slate Digital FGX for that. So that'll be listen to that. There we go. We have a limiter on there. I forgot about that. My lord. Anyway, the more limiting, the better, maybe. Now, interesting to bring out the crispness of the brass. I'm using this Fresh Air plugin, also from Slate. So we'll play it without, and then I'll put it in. And that really brings out the overall brassiness of the sound. You know, you can really hear the metallic quality of it. So let's listen to it now. And as I'm bringing it in and out, you can really hear the difference in the presence of that. So that's just one trick that I like to use. And then for the drums, here, we bring the drums back. big sound. Now, there's lots of other stuff going on, though, in this. And so we're going to take out all of the drums, and we're just going to listen to some of the ambience, because there's a lot of them. We're going to start at the very beginning of the track now for that. So that's all cinematic guitars for the most part, and that is on this track here, this summing stack that I've created. So in this particular kind of place, we have this really great Now, I'm using some Waves plugins on here too. I'm also using the cinematic guitars here. So let's open up Contact and take a look at that. So cinematic guitars is just, they're just great. And I've been using these for a really long time. So much great stuff in there. And there are these kind of great disharmonic things that are happening that I love, that give it a lot of extra sort of weird etherealness. So let's listen to that. Let's go down here. Let's see what we got. Choir, and that's LCO. And then further down, we've got some more stuff here. We've got this, so let's listen to this. Now this is just wonderful. So I'm going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into this. So the whole thing about like coming up with, for example, using these hybrid tools. And these sound great. I mean, just as affectations in the mix, we can bring these down just a little bit because they go pretty far. So we bring it all together. And then to bring some more sort of kind of earthiness to it, I'm also using a Bazantar instance. Very commonly used in TV and film scoring all over the place. With a Valhalla reverb kind of shoved on there. So the theme is introduced in two sections, more minimally during the first section, and then sort of more maximally in the second section. And that's how it rolls. Now, I think that there's a lot to be said for other textures, and we're going to include those here. So there's another one that I'm using. which is the shepherd tone that I've got kind of embedded into the whole idea of it. And that's just giving it a lot of extra sort of character. And then, best practices, putting fades on audio files that you're rendering so there are no clicks. That's something you have to do. But this is the basic framework of it. And, again, it's about building that great rhythm track first and then slowly sort of layering things on. And I find it's easier to do the drum programming first because it really drives all of the harmonic sort of action as it relates to the rest of the parts. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an insight into a trailer scoring or sounds that you can use in trailers. And have a great night.